live with audience on Facebook. You can go to Facebook, the Divine Medium, and join in on the live feed and watch live, or keep watching on the A1R. Okay, we're going to answer some questions today. A lot of people love this segment of the show where we just present answers for a lot of people's questions. A little background that you guys are learning about me is that I did pass away in 2009, and I am giving you guys answers for things that you have been searching for all your life. I was there for a very long time, and I have the answers that you're seeking. So we are going to answer some of those questions. Okay, so the first question that I'm going to kind of present is from a Tammy Webb. And she asks, do you still feel that connection to your significant other on the other side? Of course, that connection is never broke. Even when you're on the other side, that connection is not broke. Now, a question that was presented to me with a client today during a reading was she didn't understand how her loved one could be everywhere. She could understand the concept of God being everywhere, but she couldn't understand her loved one being everywhere. And the concept that you guys have to understand is if God made you in his image and he can be everywhere, so can you. That concept isn't separated at all. So your loved one can be doing another life and still be with you, still be with grandma, still be with mom, doing a lecture in heaven. Your soul is like an atom, and it breaks up into little particles, and it can go everywhere. So your loved one doesn't technically leave you. And they kind of laugh because you guys go to graves, and I guess you guys are expecting them to be sitting on a tombstone, kicking their feet. And they're not doing that. They're literally in the car going to the gravesite with you. Okay, so they're with you all the time. Let's see. Tammy Webb kind of presents it in a more detailed question here when she says, do you still have a you're the one feeling, a strong connection to just one soul or person? Does that make sense? And it does. You can, and this usually happens with a twin flame. Basically, the twin flame is two parts, one female, one male of one soul. So you're taking one energy and splitting up into two, okay? And that's the connection that you'll feel there. Okay, so somebody asked, can you talk about soul retrieval and how to regenerate soul pieces? And it goes more into further depth when it's referred to as a thought that our life now progresses. The hurtful past episodes keep a piece of our soul there, and that past hurt, so we're losing bits. No, you don't lose bits of your soul, because all of that has to kind of go with you in the transition area or the hall of knowledge, where you're going to review it in what's called a life review. The life review is you feeling everything you felt as well as everyone else around you. So it's almost like, let's say, for example, this is your loved one, okay? And this is you, and maybe the dynamic between the two of you wasn't really great. So you're gonna feel what you felt, and you're gonna feel your loved one what they felt. So it's almost like you switched roles, and you're going to feel what you did to yourself, okay? So you being the other person. Hope you guys can understand that. And the purpose of the life review is not God judging you, but you judging yourself. Because I don't think you're going to learn anything if somebody's standing there going, you did this, 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 and this wrong. It's going to feel more real if you're in the moment and you're feeling it and you're going, I shouldn't have did that, because you're going to feel what the other person felt, the whole point of it. And she said to me, well, if this is a school, why would God create this like non-reality? Because it's kind of like reading a book, okay? You read the book and it's a story, it's great, okay? But you're only absorbing the words, you're not absorbing the experience. It's not until you go into the book and actually experience the story for itself that you're making it a reality to your soul. You're taking on the experience as real. So yeah, this might all be faked, but it's still real to your soul by learning the experiences, and that's what makes it important. And I don't think that she was understanding that concept, and that's okay. I love that I get souls like this coming to me, wanting this thirst for learning. It's amazing to me that they just want to keep learning no matter how hard it gets. And it's been really hard on her. I saw that today. Can a loved one, this is from Jessica Shank, can a loved one that passed be one of your guides? Yes and no. And I'll tell you why. Let's say, for example, grandpa dies at age 5. You're at age 5 and grandpa dies. There's those 5 years that you would be unguided if your grandfather was your guide. So that's not going to work. It would have to be somebody that you didn't know in this lifetime. They have to be there from the time that you create your soul contract to the very past the end when you go back to heaven. So it can't be somebody you know in this lifetime. Okay? Tammy Webb. I'm loving Tammy Webb's questions. Do your feelings here for people carry over with you when you pass, and do you have those same feelings for the same souls? Okay, now this actually reminds me of the reading I did today. And she was asking kind of the same question. Is he going to remember me? Is he going to have the same feelings for me when I cross? And yes, it's going to be in a different kind of dynamic, okay? So what you're going to have is a soul that remembers the life, remembers the feelings, but then also remembers all the past lives you had with them, okay? It's a soul recognition. They're going to recognize you here, all the past lives you've had with them, and all the dynamics and the relationship dynamics you had with them in those past lives. So it's a different kind of feeling, that because what I find when here on Earth, when I came back here, was a lot of people like to kind of put the soul in like a cup, okay, and contain it into one little section of area, that this is you, and when you go to heaven, you're going to have these feelings for these certain people. When you're going to have feelings for all kinds of people, not just the ones you've had here, okay? And you don't want to stick your soul into a little container. Your soul's not meant to be in a container. It's meant to be free and learn multiple things at multiple levels. You don't want to contain it in a small space, okay? That's not how that works. Will your soulmate protect you from their own destruction by cutting you out of their lives? Okay, soulmate isn't what you're thinking. A soulmate can be anybody from your grandmother to your daughter to your mother. A soulmate is just a soul that repeated a life with you, okay? And basically, no, a soulmate's not going to protect anything, but if you're experiencing something with your soulmates, okay? Hold on real quick, guys. Okay. If you're experiencing something with your soulmate, it's basically just something to be learned. You have to learn from it, okay? It's not cutting you out. It's not, destruction. It's more, okay, if it's rough with that person, you're just going to learn with that person. Does drinking alcohol keep you on a lower vibration? It depends, okay? If you're just having like 1 or 2 drinks, not really, okay? You're just kind of calming your soul down. But when you go into excessiveness with it, that's when you're going to have a problem. What you're going to have is a replacement. And this is when you have somebody that does something and they don't remember doing it. That's because technically their soul is not there. A soul cannot be in a vessel when it's so woozy and trying to kind of balance itself out. It will actually leave, and then it leaves a vacant spot for something else to come in. And then that thing ends up doing something. And that's why you have trouble remembering, okay? So you don't want to go excessively drinking. Okay, this is Sandra Cano. Can we talk about the sun and the planet Lake that appears next to the sun? Now, a lot of people think that this is Mars. It really isn't. Okay, you're gonna have a lot of people thinking it's Mars. It really isn't. When the veil is thinning and the more it thins out, you are going to start seeing things you didn't see before. Planets are going to start surfacing. Way back when, okay, years and years and years ago, before Christ was even here. There was planets here, and they were being seen from Earth before the veil really got really, really thick, okay? There was actually a planet that was going around Pluto, and I believe it was called Juno at the time. And I have it in my notes here, but from what I gathered and remembered them telling me, it was called, I believe it was called Juno, and it was a planet that was actually going around Pluto. And now we don't really see that. And that's the veil covering that up. But as soon as the veil starts thinning back out again, you're going to have all these different things showing. There was, research papers on decomposed fairies all of a sudden started surfacing, and people are starting to notice, okay, everybody in Ireland started talking about the fairies out there. There's tons of fairies out here in Ireland. We see them all the time. And then all of a sudden, there's decomposed fairies that are just showed up on Earth. That's because all these realms, and it's kind of like this, you kind of have all of these realms blending, okay? So all these realms are blending. They're not up, they're not down. So maybe this is the fairy realm, this is the mermaid realm, this is Earth in the middle, but they're all blending. So if the veil thins out, you're going to start seeing these other realms coming to light and blending with our world, okay? So it's not going to be anything new. So that is another planet, but it's not necessarily Mars. Okay. Tammy Webb. Again, why would two people not reconnect in this lifetime if they both had strong feelings for one another? A first love scenario that never got a second chance. And Michelle Clark said, great question. And then somebody else said, okay, that's just them commenting. Basically, what you have here is soul contracts that were not to collide, okay? Yes, you're feeling a strong pull, and that's because it's a past life that you're feeling. You're feeling what you had with that person from a past life, okay? And that magnet is kind of being pulled. So basically what happened is you didn't go through the transition regression period very well. So what will happen after this life is when you go back to heaven, they're going to put you through the resting place again. And the resting place is they kind of, okay, let's say, for example, I keep getting pulled to Ireland. I want to go to Ireland. When you go back to heaven, they're going to try to wipe that part of your mind clean so that you don't keep getting pulled to a certain person or pulled to a certain area, because you're not going to learn that way if you keep regressing back to past lives, okay? So this is why this happens. And no, not necessarily. You're not meant to be together in this lifetime, but you're being pulled to that person because of a past life. You're remembering, your soul's kind of remembering the nostalgic love and the amazing feelings they gave you from that life. Doesn't mean that it's meant to happen again in this life. And that's most likely why it's not working out. When things don't work out, it's supposed to not happen. When things are meant to work out, they're just going to slip and click right into place into your life. Okay? When you go against the grain and you're not listening to your guides, it's going to be chaos. It's not like you're going to hit roadblocks over and over again. You're going to finally step back and go, you know what, this isn't working. There's a reason this isn't working. It's not working. I mean, we just went through it.
Yes.
I mean, what were we shopping for?
Furniture.
Oh yeah, we were shopping for furniture at the different various furniture stores, and I just kept going, why can we not find these items? We kept hitting roadblocks, and Yvonne had just said, we're not meant to find these items. We're just not meant to. And I kept hearing Maria, my guide, say, go to TJ Maxx. So we were like, screw it, let's go. So we went to TJ Maxx and we found everything, and I saved a ton of money. It worked out. Again, just slipped into place. Okay. Bonnie Wills asks, what was Jesus's message that we have gotten so messed up in versions of religion? And I go through this a lot with people, and in my mind a lot, that, I keep going back to all all of the religions that kill people because they didn't believe in their topics or believed in their discussions or believed in their beliefs, period. And they kill people for it. That's not Jesus' way. It never was. That would be the ego playing, and that would be dark playing that role. And I'm not connected to any religions. I'm more connected to the way Jesus taught, which was spirituality, which was connecting to earth, nature, love, the love of people, learning from your soul contract, reconnecting back to heaven, remembering your loved ones. I mean, right in Matthew 17, he calls forth Spirit himself. He called forth Moses and Elijah, and both have been dead before he was even alive, which would be 500 to 1500 BC. They would have been way dead before he even came into being. So when he called forth those two spirits, he was technically AKA a medium. He was a spirit communicator. And you know, and if he says in the Bible, and his message was, go out and do as I did, that's simply what spirit communicators are doing, except there's only a few of us here. Not everyone has this ability. So you got to be careful. Just because something's popular and fun doesn't mean you take it on as your mission, okay? Because then you're going to really mess up your mission. You're not going to be seeing what you're supposed to be doing with your learning, okay? So you want to be careful with that. Tammy Webb says, how do we get over regrets? Tammy Webb and Melissa Ream, I swear. They're great. I love it. Tammy Webb says, how do we get over regrets? You don't want to get over regrets because you don't, they're technically in heaven. There is no mistakes. There is no failures. There is only learning. You don't want to see things as right or wrong. But choosing an option is how you're going to learn. How you choose is how you're going to learn. So if you're not technically happy with something, don't feel regretful, change it. That's the whole point of this. It's your life. It's your life review you're going to have to experience after you pass. So take it as it is. If you don't like something, change it. Okay, let me see here. All right. Okay, there's a ton of questions here. I don't even know what to pick. Okay, Robin Abbott says, do all souls get along when they get to the other side? Yes, because there is a peaceful calming that comes over your soul. And let's say, for example, let's say you were not real religious, but your dad was. When you cross over, your dad's going to stand there and go, I didn't get it. I'm sorry. And you and him are going to kind of reconnect in a spirit kind of way where there's a lot of forgiveness there. Because when you're here, you get clouded by things. When you're there, it kind of reveals itself and you're all knowing again. And you understand how things down here work or things here work. Okay? Is there dancing in heaven? Actually, Beverly Sosi, yes, there is dancing. You can dance. You can have fun. Of course, yes. Okay. I want to go down to a Melissa Reams question. So we're going to go down and we're going to look at a Melissa Reams question. Let's see. Where's her questions begin? Because she's got like 20. All right. Okay, Melissa Ream, she asks the best questions. I can't take it. I love it. So if I'm watching ghost adventures of some kind of ghost huntings on TV, can those things cross over into people's homes through just watching TV? This is such a good question. I love this. Is why I love Melissa Ream. Okay, so basically, you have energy that will go anywhere. So let's say, for example, you suddenly are thinking of grandma, okay? And then you suddenly feel something in the room and then something happens, okay? This is you calling in your grandmother, okay? You're purposely pushing her in your mind. Now, if you just suddenly are just watching washing dishes, okay? And suddenly you think of grandma, that's grandma doing that to you, okay? She's placing the thought of herself in your mind to kind of say, hey, I'm in the room, don't freak out if something moves or makes a noise, okay? So when you watch ghost adventures, if it's happening in real time, okay? If this is something really happening in real time, you can pull in these things, okay? That's why after a show, you're kind of like, what's that? What's that? Okay? You're pulling these things in because where you think or where you pull energy in is where it's going to follow. Energy goes where it's followed or called upon. Melissa Reed. So I had a friend that spent the night in Gettysburg at a bed and breakfast on the battlefields during a fall event. She swears that she must have brought home a soldier. Can they follow people home? Yes, and this is kind of how this works. All souls cross over. It drives me nuts when I watch a show or I see something or I see somebody say, oh, I crossed them over. No, when you die, you've crossed over. You're no longer in the physical, okay? You've crossed over. There's no other way about it. Now, you might get somebody in the Hall of Knowledge. It's a hallway area or a corridor where your life review is playing out, and then you suddenly put yourself in a perception of what you think heaven is, okay? Once you get past that transition of remembering what heaven really is, then you start seeing real heaven, okay? But this is, and some people, and I call it plateau sometimes, because this is when you have somebody that commits suicide. They're not in hell, they're in heaven. They place themselves in a perception where they think, I just did something bad, I have to review this, I have to understand why, okay? Where some people put them right into heaven. They'll place themselves right into heaven and say, I can no longer do this, and I know God forgives me, and it's not even about forgiveness. He understands how hard it can be here, okay? And you know, he sees the toughness. I mean, he came here. He understands it for himself, okay? So you're not alone. And that was the whole point of him coming, was to show you, I am like you. You are like me. I made you in my image. I understand how these things work. Again, spirit can be everywhere. God can be, let's just use an example. God can be here in a vessel. And I call this the astronaut suit. You have to wear the astronaut suit in space to be in space. Your earth vessel or your earth suit, as Lori called it today, you have to wear that to be here on earth, to eat its food, breathe its air, things like this, okay? So yes, again, so let's say, for example, Melissa, your friend had this bright light about her, and that soldier kind of wanted to not be in plateau anymore and kind of stopped wanting to review this stuff over and over again, and he saw this bright light, and he thought, oh, let me learn about that. So he went with her. Doesn't mean it's malicious, doesn't mean it's mean. He just kind of was drawn to her energy, and that can happen because heaven and earth are blending. Heaven is not up, heaven is not down. It is blending, just like all the other realms are, okay? And there's more than just earth. There's other places you can go. How many spirit guides does the average person have? Well, that can vary, okay, based off of what you're doing, based on the person. I have 111. This year, I suddenly had 122. Okay, the numbers can change based off of like how you're maneuvering on your soul contract. Every day you make decisions which can change your soul contract at any point in time. Your soul contract, just real quick, is on your hand. All these lines, your soul contract's on your hand. What you could have been doing as opposed to what you are doing. And I'm going to suggest you guys do a challenge. Take a picture of your hands and maybe say 3-6 months later, take the pictures again and then compare the pictures. I guarantee these lines are going to change, okay? Do we adapt to have the same personality, likes or dislikes as our lead spirit guide? You can. You can tend to pick spirit guides that are similar to your personality. I've seen that before. Or you can have total opposites, like me and Maria. Maria's like very, don't do that. And I'm like, I'm going to go do that. So, there you go. Can we keep our same spirit guide that we had since the beginning of time for us? Does God know will be a good fit? You can. It's just like picking a soulmate that kind of repeats lives with you, like that favorite grandma that you loved, ends up being your mom or ends up being your sister. In each life, they change roles because, again, you guys are actors in an acting play, and you're playing out a life lesson. You're learning let's just say this is your life book in heaven, okay? And there's different sections or chapters in your book. So your first life is here in your book, okay? And then let's go a few more pages, and there's your second life, okay? This is how this works. Each chapter is going to be different people, maybe the same people playing different roles. It's whoever you're drawn to is going to be in your storybook, okay? Maybe you want to pull in new characters. Maybe you want to pull out not so great characters. Let's say you don't get along with somebody and you don't want to repeat a life with them. So you sit back and you go over the life review when you both pass and you go, we didn't get along so great. I don't think I want to do this again with you. I want to pick somebody else. And maybe you should pick somebody else because this isn't working. And you guys can do that. You have that power to do that, okay? You have that free will. You always have free will attached, okay? There is some realms you don't have free will. But this life you do, and in heaven you do. You can choose for yourself. God just sits back and goes, grow, learn, keep going, understand love, understand why I love, and understand what I've created here. Don't give up, keep going. Because each time you give up on a life, you're just going to have to come back and repeat it again, okay? Or repeat and repeat until you pass. You can't get to 5th grade until you pass 4th, okay? So if you don't like something, change it. Don't wait around for somebody to change it for you.